Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she has to raise her own baby? My 19-year-old college-age sister went to a party over New Year's Eve and got pregnant by a one-night stand. She doesn't know who he is, and for some reason she first thought that my parents would watch her baby while she finished college. My mom is often sick with Lyme disease, so they said no. Recently, over spring break, my sister told me I need to baby-proof the house. She told me not ask because my wife works from home so she could watch her baby while she finishes college. I told her my wife and I chose to be child-free, and my wife often does have to travel for work last minute. It's not a little last-minute travel. It could be to San Francisco, Austin, Chicago, Toronto, or Los Angeles in hours' notice. My sister got mad saying my wife could take the baby for her, or I could watch her baby then, or our parents could. My sister got extremely upset that no one is helping her out and it's too late to look for other options now. Well, I told my sister she should have never expected other people to raise her baby, and she needs to find other options and rethink going to a university out of state, and live with mom and dad for extra support. My sister said everyone is trying to crush her dreams, and maybe she should give her baby up for adoption. I told her maybe that's not such a bad idea, and it might be what is best for her and the baby. She now thinks I'm the worst brother in the world, but my wife and I decided to not have children, so we shouldn't be forced to raise my sister's baby. Now for the top comments. Not stay home. Your sister made a very adult decision to have a one-night stand and now has to live with the consequences. She either chooses to sacrifice for her baby or chooses to give the baby up. It doesn't sound like she's ready to be a mom, in my opinion. She also made a very non-adult decision to never use protection at any point, including the day after pill. Not stay home. It is her baby, so it is her responsibility. The thing about adopting the child out is an attempt at blackmailing you. Don't fall for it, even if she is serious about it. With a mom that irresponsible, the kid would be better off if she sucked it up and allowed a child to be adopted by someone with the time and resources to raise a baby. As for Opie, not his circus, not his monkeys. Not stay home. Your sister is 19 years old and had a fantasy in her head that having a baby would not change her life because everyone would help while she went out of state for school. Well, she's going to be a mother, and it's time for her to accept the reality that her fantasy of finishing school while her family cared for and raised her infant was just a fantasy. It's like she doesn't understand the consequences of having intercourse. Too many people are way too chill with it to the point unwanted children are thrown around all the time. Yeah, I get it. Be more positive about it, but that should come with the responsibilities. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling my stepchildren my kids and upsetting my wife? I married my wife last year, after 4 years of dating, and we mixed our families. Her two boys, Dylan and Tyler, 16 and 11 now, and my girl Sam, 18 now. Our children accommodated to the idea of living together pretty well. Dylan and Ty's father and my wife got divorced when Tyler was born, and they agreed he would only have visitation rights. Around 2 or 3 years ago, Tyler called me dad while we were having dinner, and that night my wife asked me to correct her children when they call me dad, out of respect for their actual father. I found it weird, but I agreed to because in the end they're her children, although I never ended up doing it. This week, Dylan had a football match and Tyler a piano lesson, which my wife usually picks them up after. This time both she and I didn't have to work, so I suggested picking them up together. Dylan practically jumped to our car and then we all went to pick up Tyler, and since I was there, I decided to meet his piano teacher too. When she met my wife, Dylan, and me, she greeted us and asked me if I was the kid's dad. I sincerely forgot about that promise I made years ago and said I indeed was their father. My wife almost instantly corrected me with stepfather, and then Dylan said out loud, "Mom?" The return home was awkward, and when we arrived, she called me out for breaking the promise we had by saying I'm the kid's dad. To make it worse, this morning I noticed the kids are acting distant towards their mother, and they deliberately are calling me dad whenever she's around. I feel guilty because it's the first time there has been such tension between them and it's my fault. Am I the a-hole for calling them my kids? Your wife is working toward an estranged relationship with her boys. We can parent as much as we want, but we will never control our kids' feelings. She has assigned herself way too much power and her kids too little autonomy. We aren't talking about 6-year-olds. You didn't do anything other than step up to the place that another man abandoned. Not stay home. The whole goal of step-parenting is to have this kind of relationship. How can Opie's wife be so mad about something so many people would dream of having? Not stay home. She's upset because you are a father to her kids and love them and they love you back? I could understand their dad being upset, but not her. And honestly, not even him. If he has visitation, you live with them. He doesn't even visit them, so I actually would get mad if he protested. Haha. Not stay home. I would understand if he was still in the picture, but I don't understand why your wife would want them to call you stepdad out of respect for an absent father. He's done nothing to earn it, and nothing to earn the title of dad. On the other hand, clearly you have. Not stay home. If the kids think of you as dad, then you are dad. Dad is not limited to biological father. Why can't the kids have 2 dads? Also, it should be seen as the highest of compliments. Opie's wife should be thankful that her sons see and feel that way about their stepfather. It definitely isn't always the case. I know, right? You read/hear so many stories of dysfunctional blended families. It's so heartwarming they're calling Opie dad by their own choice. A weird reaction by the mom. Perhaps unresolved emotions around a boy's bio dad abandoning them? This is one case that counseling might make a positive difference. The whole family or just Opie and his wife. Suggesting it for only his wife probably wouldn't go over well. Lol. Good luck, Opie. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for threatening my sister-in-law to kick her out over an argument? Little backstory before going to the main thing. I, 27 male, have a brother, 31 male, who has a wife, 29, and son, 7. Our parents were divorced, so after their passing, I inherited everything from my mother and also half from father, but my brother also inherited the remaining half from my father. Shortly after inheriting my mother's house, I was quickly approached by one guy who wanted to buy the house. He already made an offer to my mother, but she didn't want to sell because she was living there and didn't want to leave. It's a 4-story house. That is a huge AF. Still had some rooms unfinished and I didn't really want to live there. So I cashed out and bought a studio apartment in the city where I was working. My brother was renting a place in the very same city. Forward to the recent times, my brother is an engineer and had a solid job, until the beginning of 2020 where he got fired. Since then, he still hasn't found a job in his field. He started eating through his savings and asked me if I wanted to buy his half of the house/property. Dad's house is smaller but way nicer. Those last years of his life, he invested lots of money into the house and made a pool outside. I wanted to buy it off from him even before he offered it and planned to pay more than what he asked me. So I obviously accepted since it was a great deal and I somewhat helped him. Summer 2021. I guess my brother was running low on cash because he said that he can't afford the rent anymore. So he asked me if he could move in Dad's house. I wasn't using it that much, so I let him move in. 2022. I've been staying at Dad's house for the past month or so because I have some people working on demolishing some old buildings on the property. I get up early every day so I can be with the workers. I noticed that my nephew never has a breakfast before going to school, and also his parents never pack him anything. I asked him if he eats anything at school, and he said that he eats an empty croissant that he gets from the shop. Felt bad, so I started making him a breakfast and packing him a sandwich for school, along with some snacks and a drink. I've been doing it for the past 2 weeks. Yesterday, his mother saw him eating what I packed for him, and she said, "This explains why nephew wasn't hungry after school," and left the kitchen after giving me this weird look. After nephew left, she came back and lashed out at me, saying that he'll get fat, that I shouldn't give him junk food, that I made her bad in her son's eyes, and that I don't have her permission to do it. I told her that she's neglecting him, and that I will only stop it once she starts doing it. She then screamed at me, called me names, and told me to go back to my crap hole in my city. At this point, I was fuming, so I threatened her that I will kick them all out if she doesn't get her act together. Neighbor asked what was all this screaming about, and after I told him, he said that I'm not a parent and that I should stay out of it. Not stay home. You certainly should not stay out of it. I would speak to brother about it. A child should have 3 meals a day at least. Sister-in-law has probably only noticed because he is not starving by the evening meal. Speak to brother. If they don't change, call CPS. CPS will visit and educate them. If they still refuse, they will act in the best interest of the child. Opie mentions in later comments that the child is only in school until noon. So the croissant is just for breakfast and he and his brother were raised the same way, and that it is normal in their culture. Granted, one croissant isn't enough for the kid and he needs to eat lunch before mom is home at 2. But it's not like America where the school has a lunchtime. I never said that it was normal. Pretty sure I was the only one in class eating an empty bun. English is not my first language. I don't know the word for it, but it was something similar to a hot dog bun/croissant. I don't think that we were poor back then. Everyone was working, and at the time both grandparents were alive and working as well. So I guess my parents were cheap and didn't care. That must be where your brother gets the idea that this is okay. But you didn't overstep. You fed their child, and from the way it's worded, I don't think you even complained to them about the cost/time of it. They should have been thankful. Why is she neglecting her child? Does sister-in-law have a job? Do they pay rent? You have every right to kick them out, but I'm wondering who will hurt most. Sounds like your nephew will be worse off. Not stay home, but think about your next move carefully. She does. They don't pay rent, only bills. They're living rent-free in your house? What does your brother do all day? Because it's clearly not making his son breakfast for dinner. I wanted to write it, but I was over the character limit. My brother works in construction now as a laborer for his friend. He gets up around 5 a.m. But once he is back, he eats, takes a shower, and goes straight to bed. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister that her husband should be ashamed of himself? My sister's husband is always the one to always lecture everyone around him about manners and proper behavior, but he never does those things himself. He is very pretentious, and while my sister knows it, she enables him. Our mother, who's a 62-year-old woman, is working 12-hour shifts every day and comes home tired every afternoon. She works 5 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon and only has 1 day off. My sister gave birth to her baby 2 months ago and she is on maternity leave right now. Her husband is also working a 9-to-5 job. My sister has had to go to the doctor's appointments many times in the past few days, and she would leave the kid to her husband. But after the first time, her husband complained that he can't deal with the baby alone, so she should take the kid to our mother. That happened for 4 times straight, and my mother has expressed to my sister how tired she is and that she also needs a break. My mother ends up saying yes every time because she adores her grandchild and is heartbroken that my sister's husband doesn't do his job as a father. But my mom is indeed very tired. My sister completely ignores our mom's exhaustion and keeps bringing the baby instead of dealing with her husband. The last time this happened was 2 days ago. My mom had just come back from work and she was sleeping. Right when she fell asleep, my sister calls her and tells her she's gonna drop the baby by our house because she's got another doctor's appointment. My mom started sobbing and saying how nobody thinks about her and her own exhaustion. I told my mom it's fine and that I'll care for the baby and she can sleep. For anyone wondering, I'm working a part-time job as a college student while I'm also studying for college. So it's not like I have plenty of free time to help out more. I decided to sacrifice my own time that day because I felt bad for my mom. Then my sister called me and thanked me, but I told her that I appreciate her being thankful, but at the same time this can't keep happening. I asked her why her husband couldn't keep the kid, and she said that he was tired from work and wanted to sleep, so he told her to take the baby to our mom. I told my sister that her husband should be ashamed of himself, and that he has a lot of nerve to pull the tired card when he is the parent, and doesn't respect the fact that our mom, who's a 62-year-old woman, is working 12 hours and can't even get half an hour of sleep because he refuses to be a parent. My sister got really mad at me and told me to never speak of her husband like that again. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not an a-hole. Your sister is an a-hole and her husband is a mega worthless a-hole. You are not. Like, cry me a river that you're tired, dude. Tough luck. Your kid comes first. The fact that your sister has no problem with that is a big issue. All parents are tired. You can't just not be a parent anymore because you're tired. Get the heck over it. Rant over. This The sister has two options: leave the baby with her husband or take the baby to her appointment. For 8 years, my husband was gone for 12-hour days, but I had to take my kids with me to all my appointments. I think I asked my mom 3 times for help during those 8 years. She came once when I had to go to the urgent care. The other 2 times she said she couldn't, so I had to take them with me. I took a newborn with me to therapy. I took 3 kids with me to get steroid shots in the butt. I just didn't have a choice. So the sister can do one of those things, but she can't keep burdening her mom. Not stay home. Her husband is a jackass and somebody should talk to him that way. His mother apparently didn't raise him right. His mother is a whole other story. She wore black to their wedding because she was mourning that she was losing her son to my sister. She also expects my sister to be a full-time housewife but still maintain her job. Her son is her baby. How about he has his mom take care of the baby? See, he doesn't want to exhaust her. Yes, I know. Not stay home. Your sister got mad because she knows you're right. She's likely in denial that she just had a baby with someone who is showing little to no interest in actually parenting. And realizing that other people are noticing this as well makes it harder to maintain that denial.